Hej och välkomna till ett nytt avsnitt av vår videoblogg. Idag ska ni förutom mig och Johan få träffa Nick Root som är verksamhetsansvarig på ett av våra portföljbolag, FTCS.
Äntligen.
Äntligen har vi honom här. Ja. Nick kommer att såklart berätta om FTCS och han kommer även berätta om deras framtidsplaner. Såklart så kommer vi även gå igenom periodens händelser som vi alltid gör. Men vi startar med Nick och FTCS. Hi and welcome Nick.
Welcome.
Nice to have you here.
Thanks very much, and for switching to English.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I wouldn't have known what you're talking about.
Can you please start and telling us about yourself?
Of course, yeah, I'd love to. So I'm from London. I've worked in London most of my life. And I've worked for this business for the last 12 months. And my history, I guess, is technology, finance, mathematical risk, banking. Most recently, I've been working on machine learning and blockchain technology. Yeah. So I've kind of worked all over the retail banking chain, but mainly more recently in technology.
Yeah. Suitable for your
exactly.
position.
Exactly, yeah. It's very useful right now because I've worked in very, very large entities, and now I'm switching and working in a much smaller entity, which I'm really liking actually.
Yeah, great. We are getting a lot of questions from our shareholders.
Great.
And they all have the same question, and that is, what is FTCS and what are they actually doing?
Okay, so yeah, it's a great and critical question. I think at its heart, FTCS is a group of engineers, innovators that think that the financial world is too slow. Payments, transactions, KYC, credit risk, that's happening too slow, and there's no good reason why that's happening slowly. So we're creating technology products that are going to try to remedy that problem.
Yeah. And can you tell us about your 3 business areas?
Yeah, sure. So, well, I'll tell you why we have 3. We know this is a risk play. We don't want to have all our energy in one area. We have a banking area, which we're just launching, or launched last month for corporations. So this is kind of like, imagine Revolut, TransferWise, very quick onboarding, very quick transactions, and it acts exactly like a bank account, but we don't lend because we don't have a banking license. We also have a merchant product that we're going to roll out in the next 2 months maybe, which is basically a cashier. So you log into a merchant's website and you want to check out, and we provide all the technology that helps that happen. We also have a voucher platform that is now launching in Brazil, relaunching actually, because that was our original product back in 2014. So we've got the 3. They are pretty much unlinked. All that's related is that they are kind of using transactions. They're based around transactions, but they have different teams, different areas, different engineers, different markets. So the plan is to really create future revenue that is not fragile. If one of those areas doesn't work, then the other 2 will pick up.
Yeah, that's good. And who is your customers?
So we have a range. So banking, we're sticking mainly to Europe right now because that's what we know. And the regulator, that's what they want us to really stick to right now. But we're looking at small to medium enterprises. But later on, that'll be individuals as well. And then we'll look at our remittance products across Europe and across the world, so moving money around the world. And then merchants, we're looking for smaller merchants that they're not using the larger, more well-known products out there. Then the other, a voucher is merchants as well, but it's in quite high fraud environments. So we're looking to help those merchants that are really trying to target and minimize fraud.
And you talked about the bank in Brazil and the license deal you just made. Can you please tell us about
Yeah, of course.
license deal?
Yeah, so it is a licensing agreement with the bank, BS2, and they want to offer checkout loans. So you guys have a product quite like this here, Klarna. So it's a little bit like that. When there's merchants, physical merchants, shops, they approach the checkout and they want a loan. So rather than do the transaction in one big chunk, they want to do it over 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month. So we offered the technology to instantly credit risk them and offer them a loan right there and then. So we are providing the tech to make that happen very quickly. And the bank is loaning. So we're not actually lending anything. We're just a partner with them. Yeah. But it's very, very interesting. We think this could be huge over there because there's a cultural change over there. They like to pay in chunks rather than in one go because of the FX movements that has been, in recent years.
Of course.
Yeah.
And you are launching this in other countries as well, not only Brazil?
Brazil right now, because we think there's a huge opportunity there. Well, we know there is. But I think this is a product that we could roll out in the future in Europe as well. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. What would you say that is your unique selling point?
So I think that the unique points for us, for customers, is probably a pace. So you can onboard with us, even if you're a corporation, within 3 days. That's pretty much the quickest in the world, we think. So from the initial application to the actual IBANs that you have is 3 days, as long as you're low risk. So that I think is really the universal point right now. For investors, I think that we have arrived at a time when technology, blockchain, machine learning is really blooming and very, very available. And it's not like we are trying to use that as a fashionable thing. That is an integral element of our platform. So we utilize that to make our product work really quick and really smoothly. So I'd say technology, a regulation is also changing a lot. The regulators are being very innovative, especially in Europe. So that's making our life very easy. PSD2, the kind of license we have, e-money license, was brought around to try to free up the system, which is working really well. And then the other area is consumer choices. I think consumers are much more readily choose a new player now than they would 10 years ago. So that's, we need that because, we're not a known name. So I think those 3 areas are making it a very, very interesting investment right now.
And how do you see the traditional players responding to the financial threat?
Yeah, well, this is an interesting one. I think a lot of the traditional players, like, the banks is what you mean, really. They're kind of pretending there's not a problem. Or they're pretending there's not a problem, and they are employing huge marketing teams to tell investors that they are being innovative and that they are changing. And that may be happening in small areas, but I can tell you across the industry that's not happening. And the reason is because what's enabling change is technology, and their technology is old and it's slow, and to change it takes a huge amount of money, and that's happening at a time when they don't all have the money to throw at that problem. So I think a lot of them are trying to change, and I've worked in that industry. I worked in one of the largest retail banks in the world, and there was lots of noise and marketing about the change, but it's not really happening. And I think they're pretending that there's not a problem, when there really is. They've lost almost half of their market share of consumer to consumer payments. They've lost about a third of consumer to business. That's critical because payments is the way in. That's how you control, that's how you know what's happening, that's how you market, that's how you accurately price loans, That's how you know the customer. So once you control payments, you control the industry. And there's, the theory is, and when I worked in the larger players, what they're really worried about is the utility model. So, the banks, they move away from the consumer and they move more into a utility role. So they provide the capital to loan, but they don't really have the day-to-day interaction with the individuals. So they're not the ones that can accurately market and price those loans.
So what's the next step for FTCS?
So the last 12 months have been all about building, engineering, coding, lots of that stuff, a lot of interaction with the regulator, a lot of interaction with the legal end of things. Like how can we, really trying to analyze why the banking industry is so slow, and trying to remove all the brakes on that. Now, the next 12 months will be about getting our product to market and to create volume. So there'll be a lot more marketing, a lot more web marketing, analytics around that. And we have a lot of machine learning in place, but machine learning is nothing without volume. You have to train the models. So I think, to be honest, the next 12 months will be all about learning for us. We'll be marketing the 3 platforms and just trying to create volume through them and then just continually improve them. Yeah.
And if you're looking further ahead?
Well, I can't tell you too much because it's a secret. But, as I alluded to earlier, I think the banking market will be broken apart or at least attacked, and the value chain that is banking will continue to be disintermediated. We think that what that means is that lots of small elements of that value chain will be marketed. So as an example, if you're doing KYC checks on an individual, you won't do that in-house. You will use an API and they will provide that, and they'll provide all the machine learning because they have all the volume. Exactly that for a load of other areas.
Nick var här hos oss idag och vi hoppas att ni, liksom vi, ser potentialen i det här spännande bolaget. Och vi hoppas också att ni fick en större förståelse för vad de faktiskt gör för någonting. Johan, vi på FrontOffice har ju investerat ytterligare i FTCS. Vi äger nu 9,98%. Berätta, varför gjordes den här utökade investeringen?
Ja, men till att börja med så ska vi ju lägga till här att det här är ju någonting som vi vill göra framöver. Att lyfta fram våra investeringar. Att kunna synliggöra dem för aktieägarna. Och det är ju jättebra att vi fick med Nick till dig. Så det är super. Svar på din fråga. Ja, men det här är ju, som jag sagt tidigare, vi har ju följt FTCS under längre tid. Och nu har vi fått möjligheten att öka vårt innehav och det här tror på det starkt. Så det är svaret.
Vi fortsätter och så kikar vi på övriga händelser under perioden. Vi har ju även släppt vår Q1-rapport. Omsättningen i Q1 uppgick till strax över 2 miljoner. Ett minusresultat om cirka 3,4. Vill du ge en övergripande kommentar?
Ja, men det är ju också enligt plan. Vi har ju tagit väldigt mycket kostnader för marknadsföring och för emissionen under Q1. Så att det är klart, då har vi ju ett minusresultat. Men ja, nu har vi tagit de kostnaderna.
Är det någonting annat du vill lyfta fram ifrån Q1?
Nej, men det som är kopplat till kostnaderna är ju såklart marknadsföring. Så att det är ju klart att vi har lagt mycket energi på att marknadsföra bolaget eller vår koncern. Och ja, men det funkar. Vi lägger ner mycket tid, energi och nu även pengar såklart på att marknadsföra oss. Och ja, men det bär frukt.
Under perioden så har vi också avyttrat 12% av ett av våra portföljbolag, The Great While. Vill du ge en kommentar till den avyttringen?
Ja, men 2 saker egentligen. Den ena är ju att vårt syfte är ju att tjäna pengar till våra aktieägare. Så att en delavyttring här har ju såklart genererat en vinst till oss. Så det är ett. Och nummer 2 är ju att sprida risk och även inhämta kompletterande kunskap. Jag menar, vi har minimerat risken genom att sälja hälften av vårt innehav. Men vi har även fått en ny delägare som kan hjälpa till med nästa steg. Att förverkliga The Great Wild.
Vad är nästa steg i The Great Wild?
Ja, men nästa steg är ju såklart att göra verklighet utav den här idén. Och vad är då verklighet? Verklighet är ju att ta nästa steg, att komma ut i stora världen, inte bara Sverige. Och även att fylla på det vi har byggt upp med ännu mer innehåll. Kanske ett förvärv, kanske ett... ja, jag ska inte säga för mycket. Nej.
Glöm inte nu att ni kan ställa frågor till mig och Johan om det är någonting specifikt ni vill veta eller någonting ni vill se här i vår videoblogg. Jag tror att vi säger tack så mycket för idag. Och thank you Nick. Och tack för att ni har tittat.